Hello and welcome everybody. Hello, my beautiful ninth graders. First, I want to apologize because of the inconveniences I had for presenting this class last time. And I know this is taking a little bit more time of your afternoons, but I promise I'll do it as fast as I can. I'll show you what you need to know, and I will help you out understanding the topic. Remember that if there is any question about this topic or anything that you want me to explain to you personally, you can actually have another meeting with me. Remember also that all this information is in your Google Classroom code and you are able to manage all of this. Okay, at the beginning of the class, remember the introduction. This is part two of World War One, and we're gonna analyze the situation that happened there, the consequences, and especially what happened to Russia. So at the beginning, I'm gonna show you a video. Watch the video. Remember to always take notes. This is important for you because the task at the end will actually need you to have this information on hand. Okay? So everybody, please take a look at the video and take notes. Okay, right now in class, I would have asked you to do like keywords to write in your notebook or something that actually got your first impression, something that you can analyze. For example, situations you would see the way are people acting, how the people used to be, how the people used to look, what is happening, what is the conflict there. So after these, I want everybody to stop the video right now and write down your impressions in your notebook right now. Okay, so after writing those impressions in your notebook, we're gonna go to the presentation, which is gonna show you actually which is the title of the class today, which is Introduction to the Russian Revolution. The first thing we're gonna do in class is answer these questions in your notebook. What is a Tsar? What is the situation in Russia? And who are the Romanovs? Um, in this case, I'm not going to do a class discussion because none of you are here with me, but I need you to answer those questions through the reading. So I'm going to show you right now in your PDF which are the pages that I need you to read in order to answer those questions, and I need you to have them answered. As you know, our PDF has these brackets, so I need you to read the first bracket and the second bracket to be able to answer the questions: what is the situation in Russia and what is a Tsar? Practically explaining to you what is a Tsar is like an emperor. So he was the emperor of all these massive piece of land of the earth, and he had a lot of power. As you see, the people and the situation in Russia is very poor. People are lacking of food, are lacking of supplies, are lacking of fuel, and all of that because they were focusing their energy in keep and maintaining the war, which actually did not help them because economically they started declining. When you see in the second bracket where it says overthrowing the Tsar, while the World War I was taking place, Russia entered to the war, to the revolution in 1917. The Tsar, that means the monarch or the emperor, was Nicholas II. This person was the richest person in the planet in that time, while the poorest people in the planet was also the Russian people or the people in charge of them. So that forced actually the people to have this revolution and to overthrow the Tsar from the throne. What happened here is that Nicholas II was actually, let me see over here, as you can see in the third bracket. Nicholas II was in charge of the revolution, and they got out of it by Vladimir Lenin. Lenin actually killed Nicholas II and all his family. His family are called the Romanovs, and that actually helps answering the third question: who were the Romanovs? I need you to understand who are the Romanovs because actually they're very important in the story. So right now I'll show you another video of who were the Romanovs, and you're going to be able to answer that by yourselves. Okay, everybody pay attention to the screen so I can show you your video. Remember, always take notes and find out in history which parts are actually more convenient to write as keywords. Okay, everybody watching here.
On the night of July 16, 1918, the last living Tsar of Russia and his family sleep soundly, unaware that the bloody civil war sweeping the country will soon overtake them. For 78 days, the family has lived in a drab compound in the remote city of Yekaterinburg, near the Siberian border, prisoners of communist revolutionaries fighting to control Russia. Just past midnight, with troops loyal to the Tsar fast approaching the city, the guards wake the royal family, telling them that they are being moved to a safe location. But the guards have no intention of protecting the family. And this night will soon become the brutal closing chapter of 3 centuries of Romanov rule. At the height of his reign, Tsar Nicholas had been the richest, most powerful man in the world, controlling 1/10 of the Earth's surface and a fortune worth $30 billion.
Until the revolution, the Tsar was considered the anointed of God. He controlled the government. He was the supreme head of the Orthodox Church. He was worshipped as a demigod by most of his subjects, and his word was considered law in every aspect of life.
Every decision was his. Even the most simple name change had to go across his desk.
With his marriage to Alexandra, a German princess and granddaughter of Queen Victoria, the Tsar had expanded his sphere of influence to include the courts of Europe. In St. Petersburg, the Tsar and his family lived in a breathtaking palace with 1,000 rooms. Hundreds of servants attended their every whim, and it seemed like a fairy tale existence.
I think the picture that most people had of the Romanovs was of a very privileged family, but a family with which they could identify.
Nicholas was extremely clever in the way he used his family. He had 4 gorgeous daughters. He had a beautiful son. They were very photogenic. I think he used them to sort of boost the very early on celebrity of the ruling family.
But the Romanovs harbored dark secrets behind these carefully orchestrated images. Once omnipotent, their far-reaching powers were inexorably slipping from their grasp. Inside the palace, the long-awaited heir to the throne was diagnosed with hemophilia. The slightest of injuries could bring on premature death for Alexei and a crisis of succession for the royal family. Guards protected the young Tsarevich day and night and kept his condition secret from the Russian people. Alexandra was desperate to help her son, so she turned to a mystic healer named Grigory Rasputin. Despite his questionable reputation, Rasputin quickly became one of the Tsarina's closest advisors, fueling the Russian people's growing mistrust of the German-born Tsarina.
Okay, so after watching this video, now you can answer the question, who were the Romanovs? Actually, the royal family who was in the throne for more than 300 years. And the monarchy stopped the moment that Vladimir Lenin killed them. Going back to the reading in this part, you have to finish reading all the paragraphs from this page, which actually are going to help you understand how history started evolving. What I want you to understand is that Vladimir Lenin was part of this group called the Bolsheviks. And the Bolsheviks actually promised people to get out of the poverty and to actually start sharing the wealth with everybody. And that is called communism. So in the green bracket, as you can see here, is showing you how communists promised everyone equal share of the country's wealth. Remember that these people, the Romanovs, were the wealthiest people in the planet. So actually having them share with everybody would actually improve the country's economy, which actually was a lie. That never happened. Vladimir Lenin was called a dictator, which, as you remember, dictator is one of your words for vocabulary for final test. Says dictator or absolute ruler of the Soviet Union. That is the definition I need you to write. Remember, it's in the blue part, so you can write it down in your notebook, okay? Okay, very well. Continuing, you're gonna find here a line, a chronological line, where it shows from August 1914, when the war started, then March 1917, when Nicholas II was thrown from the power. And in the same year, as you see very quickly, Lenin and the Bolsheviks in November 1917 overthrew the government and they started their own communist party. Remember that when I mean party, is not party de fiesta, it's party of political party. So in November 1920, Russian Civil War ends, but the Soviet Union is created. Soviet Union includes many countries around it. For example, as you saw in the map last time here, countries like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, all of them that were created from the Russian land were also part of the same government style. So they were part of the Soviet Union. Going back to the reading, you're going to find here also the definition of Soviet Union in the red bracket that you have to read, but also takes care in the other bracket about what are the Bolsheviks. And Bolsheviks is also part of your vocabulary words that I need you to write down in your notebook. So it says the Bolsheviks, a radical socialist group led by Vladimir Lenin, overthrew temporarily government in November 1917. The Bolsheviks wanted to rule Russia as a socialist country or a country in which all people would benefit from society's wealth, which that never happened actually. And that actually helped struggle people into more economical pressures. So remember, in this part, Lenin and the Bolsheviks are in charge of creating these new governments, which actually created the Soviet Union, as you can see here in the picture. That is Lenin. At the end, the last thing I need you to do is I need you to create this graphic organizer of summarizing the sequencing events. What I want here is that according to all the history we read right now and all the history that I was explaining, I need you to divide that information into four parts. The first one, which is the end of the war, and then you continue and you have to analyze and to find your own conclusions and to write this graphic organizer in your own words. Right now, when you finish writing these graphic organizers answers, I need to go to Classroom and upload um, this graphic organizer of sequencing, and I also need you to put this one. I don't know if you remember this one, the one we were doing in last class. That's the one about World War One, and the last one, which are these ones, these four steps. These four steps. So you upload this, and as we talked in class, I'm going to give you enough time for you to do it. So you have until Sunday to be able to upload with no problems. Okay? So, ladies, I really hope you understood. And remember, if there is any questions, you can only contact me and I'll be able to help you. Okay? Have a beautiful day and see you back next week.